Hello and welcome to the first episode of Odds and Ends. In this video series we'll cover the topics that would be on their own series or on a BitChute exclusive video, but did not make the cut either because they're too short to make a video on their own, or simply put did not fit anywhere. This series will cover 2 to 3 plants or animals that are connected by a common thread. In this case, the first Odds and Ends video will cover 3 South American crops. You'll cover Elaeis oleifera and its use in crossbreeding with oil palm. You'll talk about the palm tree called Ashaninka, found in the Peruvian Amazon. And you'll cover the domestication of various non-quinoa chenopod species found in the Andes. Let's get started. Right now we'll cover, first, the crossbreeding between oil palm from Africa and their close relative, Elaeis oleifera from Brazil. The organization known as CIRAD, currently being run by Dr. Barcelos and Dr. Amblard, did a few crossbreeding experiments, and here are the results. These hybrids were resistant to the disease bud rot. The F1 hybrids produced had an excellent oil to mesocarp ratio, but a low oil extraction rate, below 18% for the best crosses. Further improvements using these hybrids to gradually integrate small amounts of Elaeis oleifera into oil palm were also done, in parallel with another program called the BC program in Latin America. The result of this breeding allowed for more breeding for fusarium wilt resistance, leaf miner resistance, and bud rot resistance, with several genes for these traits being found. Another organization run by Dr. Alvarado, Dr. Henry, and Dr. Escobar, in an organization called ASD, likewise did many experiments with hybridization, using both F1 hybrids and back crosses. This led to a commercially viable new breed called the Amazon hybrid that produces 36 tons per hectare of oil, 50 tons per hectare in the best plots of course, and it's partially self-fertile. Now onto the Chenopod section. Now onto the Chenopodium archaeobotany, in which we'll cover the archaeobotany of canoa and piko. Dr. Essentrout in 1998 found the earliest known samples of Chenopoid material within a cave in Peru this cave is called Pantulaca Cave. These samples date back to approximately 3000 BC. This sample could be either quinoa or canafna, but it's unknown which one it is. Canafua is another species of possibly domesticated Chenopodium. It is often found in dump heaps within sites within the Andes. Due to its weedy characteristics, it's speculated to be either a weed or a partially domesticated crop. It also shows no evidence of interbreeding with quinoa due to the fact that it's predominantly self-pollinating in nature. As of right now, this plant's still being grown within the Andes as what's called rustic domesticate, because it maintains several of its wild characteristics such as self-seeding, variable maturity rates, and the ease of shattering. Both quinoa and this species tend to grow together. Piko, on the other hand, has been historically used as a medicine to treat worms. Given that wild or dark seed forms of canafa were also found in that same region 3000 years ago, it is likely that the domestication process began around that time, likely earlier, as both domesticated and non-domesticated forms were still being used. Later research found that the domestication period may have been a little bit later, around 1550 BC, although there's some Chilean samples of Chenopod that date 2000 years earlier, although whether or not they're domesticated remains unknown. The Ashaninka palms are a series of palm tree species commonly grown by the Ashaninka people within the Peruvian Amazon. There appear to be various physiological differences between several species that they grow and their wild counterparts. The most domesticated species seems to be Bactris gassipi, which is used for various artifacts involving religious ceremony. It is found in most of these people's myths and legends, and is a staple food source for starchy fruit. And these plants seem to be unable to grow outside human intervention, required them to be planted by various Ashaninka farmers. Although these two species of common palm grown by the Ashaninka people are cultivated heavily, they were not found in home gardens for these peoples, nor were any other palms, surprisingly enough. Another common species planted by the Ashaninka people seemed to be Atelia falorata. People have been observed carefully selecting different seeds from different parents for planting purposes, further indicating that continuous cultivation and selection are being done by these people on a species. There also seems to be breeding for other properties as well, such as larger leaves for thatch making and stronger wood for different tool use, although they mostly rely on wild palms for wood. There also seems to be evidence of purposeful crossbreeding between different species to improve their breeds of palm fruit. For instance, there's been found to be a population of Attila phaletra growing in the Severi village that has traits of both Attila phaletra and Attilia wibberbari, indicating some interspecific hybridization, or hybridization between two species. Well, that about covers everything for this episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to me on BitChute for a greater variety of content, 4 videos a week. And thank you to all my subscribers on both platforms. I appreciate it.